Did you see? Did you hear? Did you know? Did you see? Did you hear? Did you know? Say what? Say what? Say what?
Back. Welcome to another episode of the Say What podcast. I am your girl, the CEO Shakima, and I am just happy to be here. To all of my chameleons that been rocking with me from day one. Thank you. I would not be here without you. And even to my chameleons that are hearing my voice for the very first time, thank you for spending your time with me. All right. And of course, to Whitfield for the song that is just so fitting to me and my personality. It's just a dope song. And I always say that because it just fits me. Like, it's dope. It's unique. It's vibrant. It's lit. Right. So thank you, Whitfield. Chameleons. We are going to talk about things pertaining to relationships when it comes to, the 50-50. A man that pays 100% of the bills, the man that can do 100%, the high value man that, every woman, wants. Every woman that wants a man wants, right? We want a high value man, a man that makes, a certain living for himself. Not enough in the world, not enough. So that goes right into what I'm going to say, because based on experience, they are different. They are different. And I want us to be, we're being transparent. We getting down into it, right? Makeup off, all of that. we out here. They are different. And I'm going to tell you this based on experience. A man that, who lives a certain lifestyle, who can provide a certain lifestyle for himself, quote unquote, the high value man. And I know Kevin Samuels touched on, this a lot. But as I just said, like, they are different. They have different requirements. Like, it's not optional. It's a requirement. They require to be treated a certain way. They require to be respected a certain way. They have, certain expectations of the woman. They have certain requirements of the woman. Like, based on experience, they want you to look sexy. They don't want to see no granny panties. Like, oh my God. They require, oh my goodness. Y'all can tell this is uncomfortable, right? When it comes to oral sex, they require that a lot. Like, you should be waking up in the morning, like waking them up in the morning, like doing what you need to do to them. Like, fix my food, cater to me, nurture me, like all of that, like almost like they want to be served. And then it also seems like the more money they spend on you, the more they feel as if they can control you. So I'm saying that to say, and I'm not saying every high value man is like that. That's not what I'm saying. But the dosage that I've gotten, this seems to be the norm, and not just based off my experience, but like other girlfriends of mine too. Like, when we come to the round table, we share conversation, which they are okay with me discussing on the podcast. It's a lot of similarities. Like, You're not about to missionary them to death. Like, no. They explore. They they want to try things. And you have to be open-minded, you know, when it comes to sex, when it comes to them. Like, no, you're not about to missionary me. I mean, missionary them to death. Like, no, they're just not going for it. They are not the nicest people either. They have a certain arrogance about themselves, which I think is attractive. A certain aggression, like, and I also think that's attractive. Like, they give off that, don't play with me energy. Like, I don't play about mine energy either. Like, I like that. Like, I like to feel protected. I like to feel, like provided for. Like, I like to know when we go out, and I'm speaking for me and, other women too. Not all women, but other women. Like, when we go out, we don't got to pull out our cards. Like, our money is no good to them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know he got it. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, at the same time, the more money they spend on you, the more control, they'll take. So just be mindful and be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. But I'm going to tell you, there are repercussions when you have a certain stature of a man, the quote unquote, the high value man. And then you got to think about it too, because the women that want a man, right? Because every woman doesn't desire to have a man. That want a man, we we want the same type of man, and it's just not enough in the world. Like, the ratio is crazy. So they know that they don't come a dime a dozen. They already know that. And it's almost like you got to compete. Like, I'm definitely not competing, but I'm just saying, it's almost like you have to compete, like, indirectly, and not just necessarily with other women, but it seems like you have to compete with yourself internally too, because they're a certain stature of man, a certain caliber type of man. So they know that they can't be stagnant in doing whatever they're doing to generate the income to live the certain lifestyle that they're living. So they're always working to get better, based on my experience and the conversations that I've had with other women. And so you have to always work to get better too, right? Because you want to continue to grow together. So not just necessarily competing with other women, because in a sense you have to, right? You got to compete with other women to keep your man, because what you won't do, baby, trust me, the cleanup woman is just waiting for the right opportune time to just come in and sweep around. But also competing with yourself to continue to get better too. So it's like motivation and inspiration too, because he's getting better, you're getting better, and as a whole and as one, you too are getting better. And it can, and your relationship can only get better. And that's just how I feel. Like, if you're with the right type of man, like, it's just him, like, lighting that fire in you. Like, you just feel like you can just take on the world, and vice versa. But I hear some horror stories too from men, because I have a lot of male friends, about finding a certain type of woman. And but anyway, that's a whole nother podcast. But I'm just saying, like, we say we want those type of men, but I'm just telling you, like, just be careful what you ask for, and just be prepared, because they are a different type of man, not what you're used to, like your typical man. They're just not, because they can't be the typical man. They can't be just the ordinary man, because that's not how success works. Like, you have to be extraordinary. So they're not the typical man. They're just not, they don't think the same. They just don't. And like I said, they just have, some different type of requirements that are not non-negotiable, that are not optional. And they should have standards. They should have, you know, morals and values, and they should have boundaries. Like, they're human too. So I just wanted to put y'all on game when it comes to that, because you just can't be just out here just thinking, you just any woman can just get a high value man, because no, that's not how it works. If it was that easy, baby, we will all have one. But it just doesn't work like that. But to the 50-50, what I will say about that is, you know, this is something, because at the end of the day, no matter what I say, I want you to do what works for you, right? Don't let me dictate how interact in your relationship when it comes to, who covers what. And, you know, I do want it to be comfortable for you. I do, ladies. I want it to be comfortable for you. I don't want you to feel like, you have to settle. I don't want you to. But at the end of the day, I don't want you to base your relationship off someone else's relationship that you see, or, people that I want you to do what works for you. But I don't want you to feel like you have to settle. Like, if you are looking for a man, a high value man who's gonna, pay 100% of the bills in the house, then that's what I want you to shoot for. But I'm not gonna sit here and say it's wrong if, your man can only pay 50%. Like, maybe his 50% is his 100%. Like, maybe that's the best he can do. So if that's the best he can do, then you got to make some decisions, right? Is that what you want? It can be tough. The economy is right now, like, whew, it's good to have two incomes in the household. I'm just saying. So, whoo, ladies, just be wise about your decisions. That's all I'm saying. I'm not here to judge nobody who's doing 50-50 with their man, because I was doing 100% by myself before, because I thought I was just doing what I needed to do. Now, I'm not going to ever do that again, but it is what. But like I said, I'm not here to judge nobody. You do what works for you in your relationship. If you guys are doing 50-50, splitting everything down the middle, then that's what y'all doing. Don't let nobody dictate how you do in your relationship, because you have to do what works for you in your relationship. I can only speak for me, right? And what my preference is. But when you think about it, like I said, the way the economy is, sometimes I think to myself, like, man, if I had somebody that'll do 50% of all of these bills with me, whew, the money I would have left over. Oh, so I'm just saying, ladies, do what works for you. And we are going to continue this podcast, because there's a lot more to be said, but I didn't want to put it all in one podcast and be on here for hours and hours and hours. I just wanted to be enough for you to listen to on your way to work, on the treadmill, on the Peloton, on the elliptical, on the Stairmaster, like something to get us going. And then we'll pick back up again in another episode. But as always, to my chameleons, thank you for rocking with me. I love each and every one of you. Don't forget to follow us on the Say What podcast on Instagram, and the CEO Shakima on Instagram, Shakima D Ford on Facebook. I love you all. And don't forget, if you see someone that needs a smile, give them one of yours. And we're going to leave with the say what moment. I was paying 100% of the bills. I'm talking about every single bill. And I did it for years. And the person watched me do it. Yup. I was a sucker. And I know y'all gonna be like, say what? Yes, that was me. But I'm signing off. Bye.
Did you see? Did you hear? Did you know? Did you see? Did you hear? Did you know?